Sports.
Deebo Samuel wants out of San Francisco. The wide receiver told Jeff Darlington that he has requested a trade. Apparently, star wide receivers don't like playing running back, as the 49ers have offered Deebo plenty of money. He is concerned about his usage. Who would have thought that he wants to play wide receiver instead? Someone on Twitter claims that sources say Deebo is waiting to see where Baker Mayfield lands because he believes that they would be a good fit together. A perspective that he does not share with Panthers wideout Robbie Anderson. Anderson does not want to play with Baker Mayfield, it seems. The wideout responded, "No," to an Instagram post about Carolina being the front runner to acquire the quarterback. He doesn't seem to love Sam Darnold all that much either, if memory serves. But he did want to talk to Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, the former who expertly dodged the interview request. Robbie mentioned them both on Twitter, to which Uncle Shay responded, "Talk to Skip or Undisputed. Not my department." Oh yes, sorry, Mr. Sharpe, his mistake. He must have mistaken you for Shannon Sharpe, co-host of Undisputed. Speaking of horrible Fox Sports shows, Nick Wright needs a friggin' haircut, according to Twitter. Poor guy's had a rough couple of days on the app, but after spouting this kind of nonsense on the platform on a regular basis, I just can't find it in my heart to care. In the NBA equivalent to an old man yelling at clouds, George Karl has taken another shot at DeMarcus Cousins just weeks after seemingly burying the hatchet with Boogie, again on Twitter. George Karl had this to say in response to a quote in which Boogie asked, "What did Sacramento ever do for me other than call my name?" George thinks that the $50 million and a chance to play basketball were more than enough compensation. But fans may remember this gem of a tweet from the former coach and think that this beef has gone back a long way, and perhaps his assessment of this situation is maybe not accurate. If we remember, Boogie was a top 5 NBA draft pick who went on to average 21 points and 11 rebounds per game and made 3 All-Star games in his time at Sacramento. So $50 million is, I would just say, a good value and not something that Mr. Cousins should have to feel grateful or thankful for. But hey, I do love old disgruntled coaches spouting off on Twitter. Don't I, Dan Dockich? Speaking of old folks doing dumb things because of Twitter, Garrett Cole meme alert, folks. Another parody Twitter account has bagged itself an ESPN affiliate, at least, if not an employee, in Astros and Angels radio play-by-play announcers reacted to a parody tweet about the Yankees ace live on air. Now, the tweet is in reference, alleged that Gerrit Cole promised 600 MacBooks to underprivileged school children should he pitch at least 2 innings in the night's game. Of course, he was pulled after an inning and 2/3. Oh, but unfortunately for our announcers, they did not notice that this was posted by the New York Porch, not the New York Post. You got to keep your head on a swivel these days. especially on Twitter. We've got Ballsack Sports. We've got something I think that's called like Nutsack. There are plenty of things that will keep this video demonetized long after we've passed the requirements. But anyway, you would think that would be enough to call out to people that, hey, maybe this isn't real. But alas, alleged professionals are constantly caught off guard. So make sure you stick with us, because we only bring you the real news, like allegations of a Ben Simmons sighting. I've even heard tell of videos on Twitter of him making almost jump shots. Those are some shots. He's on track to return for Game 4, accordingly, allegedly. I will believe it when I see it, but he seems to be progressing. My one comment here is, you're going to take a guy who hasn't played in almost a year and ask him to guard Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? All right. Well, good luck. I do think Simmons could provide some defensive attention off the bench. I don't think he's going to be able to play any meaningful minutes late in the game because, well, free throws. Well, one star is on his way back into the playoffs. Unfortunately, Devin Booker is likely out for games 3 and 4 in New Orleans, where Pelicans fans are playing the world's smallest violin for those Phoenix fans, as Zion Williamson hasn't played a game all year. But here the Pelicans are, 10 games out, and probably not really supposed to be here, but the play-in tournament sure is fun, isn't it? And I must say, this Pelicans roster is fun to watch, and may be putting the Suns in a bit of a bind. But Lakers fans, and probably even Clippers fans, and just anybody who watched the playoffs last year, will be hesitant to give the Suns any empathy because, well, injuries kind of helped pave the way to their run last year. But it is poetic or ironic, if not shitty, that Devin Booker is going to be out and might damage the Suns' run. But he looks to be back sometime this series, so I would hold firm on the Suns squeaking out of the first round, which takes me to our playoff overreactions.